So I really didn't feel like making a video today, but I I think that I really do believe, I might have been wrong yesterday about the whole using having kids as an incentive and getting people married to cancel out student loan debts. And dude, I don't have student loans, so I'm kind of ignorant. I don't know everything, but maybe like all the tuition's already paid by the government. That's probably more likely. So there's no defaulting on the student loans like I thought. People are wrong. I don't know. It's cool, man. That's how you learn. So yeah, my idea, I think, could work in a pragmatic way. It doesn't have to be straightforward, but it could work in some circumstances. And the point is to try to get people to, become more conservative and be awake and understand, man. I just think that they should be cutting all those student loans. I think they should axe them, all of them. They shouldn't guarantee anyone student loans anymore, unless you're a person that worth investing in. You obviously came from the bottom, and there's a ton of potential, and you're not going to waste your time and everybody's time trying to become some type of art major or something like that. We really don't need that at this point. We need producers. That's what we need. And I could be wrong. Maybe we need more art majors. Maybe we don't need people that are going to keep the infrastructure moving forward. I don't know. I just try to look at things and connect the dots, and I see, hey, this is a possibility. I'm just trying to set a warning. But this is what I think is, I really think that people are going to, maybe not right now, it might be 5 years from now, it might be 10 years from now, who knows. But I just think that people who aren't going to value the whole materialism. Obviously we need materials in our life, but I'm watching the NFL draft last night, which I really don't have much interest like I used to. I used to love it. And I'm seeing these players all have the same type of deal, the same type of chain. Not the exact same, but it's like they're all wearing the same thing, kind of. And it kind of seems like NPC behavior. And I just don't think that, I think we're gonna get to the point where regular people are gonna notice this, and they're gonna be like, dude, you're making all this money and I'm not making anything, and I'm supporting you. The way that rich people flaunt their stuff, I just think that that's going to become cringe. You already see celebrities get pushback, a Katy Perry or something about the blue origin or whatever, the blue orgasm. No, but I just think that regular people are like, dude, I don't relate to you at all. That's cool, you're doing good things, and I'm seeing Deion Sanders, somebody I like. I think he's a good dude, but his son have that big, huge chain, and from what I hear, he told a couple teams to go ahead and pass on him. And yeah, they passed on him, and so did everybody else, and now he's not going in the first round. He's going to be probably going in the second round pretty early. Some people think he's the best quarterback. And I just looked, I don't know, I heard he's pretty solid. I never watched any of his games, so I'm not too familiar with how good he is, But I asked Gronk, I'm like, why did he slip? Why is he slipping? And AI was basically comes out and just kind of rips them apart. And when you have his dad basically telling teams to not pick him, like, that's a huge red flag, man. Like, anybody who's picked in the first round, or anywhere really in the NFL, if you get picked at all, you should feel blessed. But when you have the arrogance to be like, don't pick, and then he's like, God has a plan. It's so weird to have like rich people who are flaunting their wealth in front of everybody start talking about God. I know the dude does a lot of good. I think Deion does a lot of good, but it's just weird, man. Deion's always been like a flamboyant. I like Deion, man. He was one of my favorite players, man. He was my favorite player. I looked up to Deion actually when I was younger, and I still like Deion. But you can't really have that type of mindset nowadays. I think that regular people are struggling, and the people who are wealthy, who rely on the people who are struggling to buy their merchandise, buy their jerseys, go to the, buy tickets to go see them play. It feels like, dude, it's one thing, like, there's no humbleness. It's just, I'm awesome. Like, and then you try to come out with saying, like, I'm humble. It's one thing to have confidence, man. And that's why I'm kind of like really careful about how I say stuff. Like, I don't want to sit here and how I see other people on Twitter, like, kind of lambasting. Probably said the word wrong. You know what I'm talking about. Criticizing, the people that took student loans on, and now like they're not in a good spot. I understand the whole like concept of, you made your bed, lay in it. But I also understand that these people were lied to as well. And I kind of feel bad, and I just don't. There's other people who can go ahead and act all arrogant all they want and put them down and criticize them, but it's definitely not somebody. I'm in no position and to be doing that. So
when you get to that them ponds there, if you look to the left, there's a little trail goes right underneath that tree that you can get right through.
yeah, I seen that the other day. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a swamp out here.
Oh yeah, I know.
You too, man. Yeah, so it's like I just feel like I'm in no position to be like criticizing people when I'm not in a good position myself. So definitely I'm humbled in my life, and I think when people post like those people get upset when people post videos talking about their student loans and other people have to pay for them or something like that. It almost comes across as like arrogance, and you should and it should be more humble. Be like, I really messed up, man. Like but it's a people need to feel pain to change, and I just feel like so many people in our society just they just are out of touch, and they've had it really good, and I look at my own self, and I judge myself compared to some other people on this planet, seeing how good I have it, even though I'm basically in squalor. But it's still like way better than the situations other people are in. You know, some people are just literally living in huts. But also, here's the thing too, is here in America, and I've said this before, is yes, like, we have it really well when it comes to medicine. Like, if something happens, I can go to the doctor, and yeah, if I can't pay for it, then I guess I go bankrupt or whatever for not having any type of insurance. So we have better medical care, we have more food, even though like the food isn't like the most healthiest, but it's still better than nothing. You know, we could be eating tree bark. And a lot of people, I just feel, lose connection from reality. And it, you know, it happens. Even I bet you, like, hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, I wake up tomorrow, Bitcoin just blew up. Bitcoin blew up, and it's just hanging out at 5 million. And I'm like, wow, that just changed my life. That just changed my life. Well, at first, I would be so grateful for that to happen. But then I would start getting comfortable. And you get used to it. You get used to the comfort, you know what I mean? You get used to, like, if that happened to me, you know, hypothetically, where all of a sudden my finances are pretty much like, I don't have to worry about it for like 2 years or whatever. You know, like, this is what I would do, honestly. If it was to go parabolic, I would, even if it went up to like, man, I don't want to reveal like what I got, but if it went up to, and I can actually buy some property and like pay all my debt off and everything, I would definitely buy some property in the middle of nowhere, something like this, man. I would buy a log cabin, something simple. It doesn't have to be huge. I don't want a big, huge space anyway. I would like to have a couple log cabins on some property, so other people, like, who I care about, family or whatever, well, they can have their own like little house, and they could stay in there, and I can stay in my own, have my own space. But I would also be fine with having a little bit bigger of a cabin. Like, I would be fine with like having a trailer. Like, seriously, I'd be fine having a trailer and having modern conveniences when it comes to like having a well, so I don't have to worry about the water. Some type of like septic system, so I don't have to go outside in the middle of the winter and take a shit in the woods or something, or in the outhouse. So I definitely would like to have some modern conveniences, but even if I didn't and it was just a completely off grid, I'd be happy with that. I mean, it would be somewhere where, if I ever had a situation like this happen again, I could just go live there, you know, and I wouldn't have to worry about going in, and it's like I have to go basically live with family, which I'm very grateful for, because it could be worse. It could just be on the street. You know, some people don't even have this option that I have. So I'm very, very grateful. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. And people who see this will like ridicule me, but it's not like I'm going to go there and just like live in my mom's basement and just play video games. No, I'm going to work and try to get my own place as quick as possible. So yeah, I see like how bad things could get, and I just, you know, it's whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I I would, if I, like, hypothetically, if I could, if it blew up and I can afford a $1 million house somewhere, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go buck wild and just sell everything, you know. Think I have all that money to begin with because of capital gains tax. So like, you know, you sell it, you think, oh yeah, I got this money now. Well, if you don't have any type of income coming in to pay for the capital gains tax, the property tax, it's just like, I just think that people are going to go the opposite of sitting here trying to like trying to be flashy. I think that we're at the end of that. I think that some people will still continue to do that for sure, you know, rich people and all that, but I think that a lot of people are just getting tired of that, and they just don't relate, they don't respect it, and it just kind of seems gross. I mean, when you're sitting here with all of those resources, and you could be somebody like Joe Olstein or whatever, he's worth like 40 million, he's got a huge mansion, probably has lots of security, and you're living it up. You know, one of the worst things about church to me is seeing these pastors live it up with their fancy suits and their expensive watches, and it's like, dude, think that what would Jesus say about this? You think Jesus would be like cool with it? Yeah, man, be flashy, yeah. When there's people there's like kids starving. I just don't think so. But I could be wrong. Maybe Jesus is cool with that, and he thinks that that's awesome. Like I said, I have no problem with people living like that. That's cool, but it's just like it's pushed down onto all of us peasants like it's something that we can actually achieve. Now, you know, in the virtual reality, yeah, we can mimic it, we can simulate it, but the chances of us living like that, like me, honestly, I don't want to. You know how I want to live? I don't want to have to worry about money no more. I don't want to have to think about it. I'm tired of it. I just want to be able to. That's why I'm like, I can't wait for the robots to take over, because you call me a communist, call me a socialist, you can say what you want, but I definitely see problems with our current system that is highly corrupt. And this isn't a fully capitalist system. And I see, like, you know, people manipulating markets. I see like people who have a lot of assets manipulating markets for their own personal gain in the name of like what progress? Like what progress? Like, so you can have like 15 yachts or an extra Learjet. It's just gross, man. You know, we all need like basic things to live. Clothes on our back, a roof over our head, you know, food in our belly, the essentials. But there just comes to a point where you're like, God has blessed me. Yeah, God's blessed you, but like, what are you doing with all that? Oh, you're getting more. Oh, okay. You're not really giving back. And to be fair, the rich people like do donate, but it's just like, I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable being worth $40 billion or $400 billion unless like, you know, I was trying to progress humanity to a good place and I was using those for that. But, you know, investing into like the robots like Elon's doing. But I wouldn't feel comfortable just sitting there with all that money and some big lavish mansion, and I'm sitting there in my pool every day. Yeah, it'd be cool for a little while, but you know what I mean? it would be fun for a little while, but to live like that, knowing that so many people are like suffering to just keep me afloat, just kind of, like I said, it's kind of a gross way to live. I wouldn't like feel good about myself. I wouldn't, not at all. Like I literally am like the type of person that wants to bring other people up, but it's like I'm kind of been struggling myself. I mean, some like, man, like when when you have kids that you can't afford and you don't have any skills to go earn good money to be able to pay for those kids, and you have to go into like basically entry-level jobs, it's really hard, man. It's really hard. And you know, people can laugh at me and talk down to me, like, you know, yeah, this point in my life is maybe I do need to be humbled, you know. I complained, oh, there's no growth on this channel, there's no growth on my Twitter. So what? So what? I'm not a main character. So what? You know? How gross is it too to most people? Like most people can't even like fathom having that many followers. It's, and I'm not trying to like sound like I'm better than people or more important. It's not. I'm a nobody. But you know, most people don't have that type of like status, I guess, on the internet. But does that mean anything? No, doesn't really mean anything. It is weird, even so, like, because you get comfortable. I got comfortable. I hear like people with like 75. I was listening to Twitter Spaces last night and listening to some of these people that have like 75,000 followers, kind of complaining about lack of growth. Try to be somebody who has a little account that has, you're just like, when you say something, you're lucky to probably have anybody say anything back to you or even get one like. And I've been there. And it is gross for me to be like, get all upset, like it's not meant to be. And maybe you know, God doesn't want me to. That's fine. Like there's not really any room for me in there. He already has his main characters. I'm not a main character. I'm just a background person. So, like I said, that's just kind of a gross thing to be upset about, you know, when regular people like what are you complaining about, dude? What's your problem? You get comfortable. Yeah, this I've been humbled. I've been definitely humbled. I thought I was, you know, even in my position, like I bet you a lot of people would love to be in my financial position right now. And I'm not in a good financial position, but I'm not in the best financial position, but when I compare myself to like a lot of other people, and I think to myself, man, 50% of our population can't even come up with $1,000, or 60%, and only like 50% can even come up with like $400. And I'm sitting here out of work for the last 3 months complaining about how poor I am. Yeah, like I don't deserve to be a main character. I don't deserve to not have to worry about money. So I'm getting what I deserve. but it could be far worse. Could be far worse. If you're trying to become a main character on these platforms, just understand the deck is stacked against you, and you'll probably see a lot of big content creators kind of going away because of AI. You know, Tim Pool was talking about it the other night, and bringing up Tim Pool, people, whatever. I like Tim Pool, man. I don't agree with everything, obviously, but I like him. Me and him are on some type of same wavelength. Even though he doesn't know it, I know it. Not everything. Dude's way smarter than me, but we're on some type of like same type of frequency that not everybody else is. Not saying that I'm like more intelligent. I think that anybody can get into anything that I have, anybody can acquire. Any type of like I'm not special, okay? Like I can't jump like 40 inches in the air. Like I'm not special. But he was basically saying what I was saying about, you know, you're not even gonna have to make shows anymore. He's not even gonna have to make shows. He could just like put in the prompt, create this show of me, this guest, this, you know, and have whoever he wants on there. And then AI will just basically mimic whatever the guest would probably say in that situation, and there's a show right there. And then he's got to compete with somebody else doing this, unless if he doesn't do it. So there's just not a lot of room for growth. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the way it goes and we don't have. It is a cool system, but it's cool to. It would be cool to simulate, like, you know, being famous. That's why we play video games, man. Like, we're not the main characters in life, so we don't really have a say so. We're not taken seriously about what we say. We have little voices. So, you know, we watch movies, we play video games. You know, when you're a kid, I remember when I was a kid, I was trying to emulate sports athletes. I wanted to be like them. But yeah, and I'm not saying like somebody can't come from nothing and become somebody like a main character themselves. You need other people to bring you up. You need other people to see like, there's potential. You know, like, it's like when I'm making a live or something. The most somebody stays in my live is about 2 minutes, and that's because I'm not very interesting, you know. I don't have that banging personality, and I probably have like a monotone type of tone to myself. And, you know, just kind of, I'm boring. So like, why would somebody look at me like I'm an NPC, man. I'm an NPC like anybody else. I'm a background person. So like, yeah, people aren't going to be, I'm not flamboyant. There's nothing that really sticks out that's like, this guy, I don't have it. I don't have it, you know. And I honestly just feel better being somebody in the background anyway. But and lifting other people up and seeing them do amazing things. I don't know what the future is going to hold. It's kind of weird. I wonder if we go back to like a 90s style where people start, instead of it just kind of being a free-for-all, like we can watch whatever shows we want, listen to whatever music we want, we kind of just start going back to someone makes a YouTube channel that kind of like a radio station that gets really popular, and people kind of listen to that. Going back to kind of being like it was before we became like decentralized, and You know, when it comes to TV shows, like TV show comes on at a certain time and everybody watches it at that time. Yeah, you can make it. You can make it anytime you want, but it's better to have it, you know, like a sporting, like sports ball. Like you're gonna go watch a live event. Well, you can't just, you have to have it at a certain time. And I think that there's probably gonna be some type of entertainment that that people latch on to, just so they can kind of relate with each other better. We don't have any culture. Everybody's doing their own thing. Yeah, we can create with our own music. And honestly, all the entertainment that we've had before the internet was basically the elites were in charge of what gets put out. You know, like when it comes to music or movies and TV shows. I just think that it would probably be, I think people will realize it's probably better for us to have some pop. There's gonna be somebody that pops off like a Joe Rogan that just becomes extremely popular, and they're gonna be like a disc jockey that puts out music that, you know, people, dude, I hear like people's banging their rap music or whatever, and there's all these different types of beats or whatever. You know, there's the superstars, but you know what? I'm pretty thirsty. I'm kind of dehydrated. I don't feel like making this anymore, so I don't know if I'm gonna upload this. Take it easy.